I hadn't seen Adrian Hale in 6 years, 6 long, heavy years that stretched like an unwritten chapter one was too afraid to read again. Yet as I stood in the marble lobby of Hale Industries, holding a folder filled with documents I wished belonged to someone else, I felt time bend and snap like it had never moved at all. My fingers trembled, the pages shaking in my grip. I whispered to myself, it's just paperwork. Nothing more. But that was a lie, it was everything. Because once, Adrian wasn't just my boss. He was the man I secretly loved, the man I secretly married, and the man I secretly left. His footsteps echoed before he appeared. The same confident stride. The same quiet authority. The same scent of sandalwood and winter air. But his eyes, those deep, ocean blue eyes, held something new. A tiredness. A story I hadn't read. When his gaze lifted and found mine, the air thinned. Evelyn, he breathed. I froze. My name in his voice felt like a forgotten melody. I forced a small smile. Hello, Adrian. For a moment, neither of us moved. The world didn't either. If stories like this pull you in, make sure to like this one, so it reaches more people who love emotional journeys too. A receptionist called out something, a phone rang somewhere, but everything blurred except him. My former husband. My former secret. He stepped closer. You came back. I didn't come back, I corrected gently. I'm only here to finalize the settlement regarding the foundation funds. Nothing personal. A flash of pain crossed his face, there and gone, like lightning. He nodded slowly. Of course. Strictly business. We both knew it wasn't. He guided me toward the private lounge. The same one we used to hide in. The same one where he'd whisper ideas for our future, the ones I convinced myself we never had time for. Inside, silence settled like dust. He observed me, his eyes searching for the woman who left without explaining. You look different, he murmured. So do you. He gave a faint laugh. I guess life happened to both of us. 6 years ago, I had walked away with a broken heart and a secret I couldn't carry anymore. He never knew the real reason I left, and I still wasn't sure if revealing it now would heal us or break us further. I placed the folder on the table. These are the documents your legal team requested. You could have sent them by email, he said softly. You didn't have to come in person. I swallowed. Maybe I did. He looked at me then, not as a CEO, not as a wronged husband, but as the man who once held me while I cried in the early hours of cold mornings. Evelyn, why did you leave? His voice cracked at the edges. Back then, you froze me out completely. I exhaled slowly. Because I was scared. And because loving you felt bigger than I was prepared for. His jaw clenched. You think it wasn't for me? I turned away. The window reflected a woman who had lived with regret far too long. He stepped behind me, keeping a respectful distance but close enough for memories to breathe again. I didn't stop looking for answers, he confessed. I wanted closure, not resentment. I bit my lip. We were unraveling threads that had stayed knotted for years. My hand brushed the window frame. Adrian, before we discuss anything else, can I ask you something? He nodded. Are you happy? His silence was louder than truth. If any moment in this story made you feel something, tell me in the comments what emotion it sparked, anger, nostalgia, heartbreak, your voice matters. He shifted. Happiness hasn't been a familiar guest. Not since you left. The admission hit harder than I expected. My heart thudded painfully, memories rushing like floodwater. We sat across from each other, an ocean of unspoken words between us. He lowered his gaze. You once promised me honesty. Even if it hurt. And you promised me a future, I whispered, but we were too good at hiding everything, from the world, from ourselves. For a moment, something softened inside him. What would you say, he asked carefully, if I told you I still kept the ring? My breath caught. The ring. The simple silver band we chose in secrecy. The one symbol that held more truth than the marriage certificate ever did. I stared at him, stunned. Why would you keep it after all this time? His voice was low. Because it meant something real, Evelyn. My chest tightened, emotions pushing against my ribs. I wasn't ready, not for this, not for the truth he still carried. He leaned back, exhaling shakily. Tell me one thing. In those 6 years, did you ever think about us? My heartbeat stuttered. Type the word remember in the comments if you want to continue this emotional journey with these characters. I closed my eyes. Yes, Adrian, I whispered. More than you will ever know. He inhaled sharply. And that was when the door opened. A woman stepped inside, no hesitation, no knock. Tall, poised, dressed in a navy suit that probably cost more than my monthly rent. Her heels clicked like a countdown. Adrian, the board meeting starts in 15. We need. She stopped mid-sentence when she saw me. Her eyes flicked between us. Recognition flashed. Oh. Her tone shifted. You must be Evelyn. I straightened slowly. And you are? Liana, she replied with a tight smile. Chief Operations Officer. Then, like she wanted me to feel something sharp, she added, and Adrian's fiancé. My world tilted. Fiancé. The word sliced deeper than I expected. I looked at Adrian. His jaw flexed, but he didn't speak, not immediately. Liana didn't miss the tension. I'm sure you two have a lot of history. She clasped her hands. But we're in the middle of restructuring. So Adrian, we really need to go. She was marking territory. Professionally. And personally. I swallowed the sting forming in my chest. I was just leaving, I said quietly, gathering the documents. But Adrian stood quickly. Wait. Liana arched a brow. Adrian? He didn't look at her. His eyes were locked on mine. This conversation isn't finished. I held the folder tighter. Some conversations don't need finishing. His voice lowered. Ours does. Liana stepped forward, irritation slipping through her polished expression. We don't have time. 5 minutes, he said sharply. She stiffened, then left, the door closing harder than necessary. We were alone again. I turned away, inhaling deeply. You're engaged. He rubbed the back of his neck. It's recent. You didn't think to mention it? You left 6 years ago, Evelyn. I didn't think you'd care. I don't, I said too quickly, too falsely. He studied me, as if reading every crack I tried to hide. You still run when things hurt, he murmured. And you still pretend not to feel anything until it's too late, I shot back. Silence coiled between us. He sighed, softer this time. Liana is a good person. Reliable. Focused. But she isn't. He hesitated. She isn't you. My breath hitched. I'm not here to compete, I whispered. You're not, he said gently. You never were. I blinked, trying to steady the whirlwind inside me. Why did you ask if I ever thought about us? Because I did, he admitted, voice low. More nights than I care to remember. My chest tightened. He leaned forward, elbows on his knees. Evelyn, the day you left, I thought something happened to you. I called, no answer. I went to your apartment, empty. You vanished. It wasn't your fault. Then whose was it? Mine. All mine. I dropped my gaze. I left because I found out what your father planned. He threatened to bury your career if he ever discovered our marriage. And he found out about us, about the ring, about the nights we spent building dreams we thought were invisible. Adrian froze. My father talked to you, he whispered. I nodded. He said you'd lose everything. And I couldn't be the reason for your downfall. His face darkened. Not with anger for me, anger for what had been done to us. He had no right. He was protecting his empire. And I was trying to protect you, I added softly. He looked devastated. You walked away, to save me. Tears pricked my eyes. I loved you enough to lose you. He closed his eyes, pain surfacing like a wound reopening. You should have told me. I didn't want to force you to choose. His voice cracked. I would have chosen you. The room pulsed with everything we lost. Before I could respond, Adrian's phone buzzed. Then again. Then again. Liana. He silenced it. Evelyn, he whispered, do you still? I held up a hand. Adrian, your life has changed. You're building a future. I'm not here to destroy that. He inhaled shakily. You're not destroying anything. You're revealing the truth about the past. I stepped back, creating distance. Sometimes the truth comes too late. He stood too, closing some of that distance. Tell me honestly, do you regret us? I shook my head, tears spilling. Never. Not for a single moment. He reached for my hand, but didn't touch it, stopping inches away. Then don't walk away again. Not without giving us a chance to redefine what we were. My voice trembled. And what if there's nothing left to redefine? His eyes burned. Then let me prove there is. Emotion surged, overwhelming, unsteady. If this moment hit you hard, share this story, someone else might need the reminder that timing can hurt as much as love does. I took a shaky breath. Adrian. I don't know what your fiancé will think. He swallowed. I owe her honesty, too. I nodded slowly. Painful. Necessary. He looked at me one last time, 1,000 unsent letters in his eyes. Evelyn, he whispered. If there's even a fraction of the girl who once loved me, tell me what you want. I stepped closer, close enough to feel his breath. I whispered, for both of us to stop running. He exhaled, relief and ache entwined. Then stay. I shook my head gently. Not yet. Not today. But maybe, not never. He nodded, accepting the truth neither of us could rush. As I reached the door, I glanced back. He was still watching, still hoping, still hurting. Take care, Adrian, I whispered. You too, Evelyn. And I walked out, heart trembling, hope flickering, past colliding with possibility. In the hallway, I paused, leaning against the wall, letting the weight of everything settle. Before you go, like this video, drop your thoughts, and subscribe, because stories like this remind us that love, timing, and truth rarely arrive together, and more emotional journeys await you here.